Hi, this is Jim, and we're going to take a look at some of the markets here. Hope you had a great week. And okay, the S&P here has been in an uptrend, and big bullish day yesterday, and odds are with higher prices, so stay bullish stocks. Bonds have probably made a top and are heading lower. I think they made a top, they moved down, and this was just a test of the high, and now bonds are going to continue lower from here. The dollar made a top, and we've been bearish, and we've stayed bearish, and the trend is down. The 10-10 bands show the trend is down, and odds are with lower prices for the dollar. And today's a big down day in the dollar, so that's all playing out in our favor. We've been bullish gold and bearish the dollar. Okay, and as I mentioned before, normally when the dollar's going down and gold's going up, commodities in general will rally. So cocoa's been in an uptrend, and it looks like higher prices ahead for cocoa. The 10-10 bands show the trend, so I just pretty much stick with the trend. I mean, it's up, so there's no reason to try to call a top or anything. Everything's bullish for cocoa. Sugar and coffee. Okay, I think coffee's made a low probably yesterday, and this little W-type bottom with a bullish divergence on the stochastics. Yesterday was probably the low. Today it's kind of gapped up a little bit here, and I think the low's in for coffee. If the low's not in, it's close to being in. Higher prices ahead for coffee. Sugar, I've been expecting a bottom in sugar, and we did go long in the premium newsletter, and we got stopped out just by a little bit. So I still think this is the low for sugar. We're going to get right back in when I get a buy signal. Again, this made a kind of a W bottom and a bullish stochastics divergence, and sugar is heading higher from here. It looks like, probably. Okay, let's see. We'll look at we don't normally look at copper, but let's look at copper. Let's see, HGZ, that should be right. Okay, copper is breaking out to the upside, so if there's any copper traders, I'd be getting long copper. What I put, I've been trading ETFs a lot because of the risk. You know, copper's an expensive market to trade. So in the premium stock newsletter, I put out to buy CU, which is the copper ETF. So we're going long CU today on the opening, and copper looks like it's heading higher. This is just a beautiful base. You know, bull flag, breakout to the upside. Everything looks good for copper heading higher. So the metals in general are heading higher. Okay, let's take a look at crude real quick. Crude oil's in an uptrend. It's kind of consolidating right now, and this is kind of the same thing as the stocks. It kind of looks a little toppy here, but this is just a sideways consolidation right now, so there's no reason to turn bearish. And I think higher prices are ahead for crude. Odds are with a breakout to the upside from this consolidation. Again, as I mentioned in last week's video, or the last video I did, whenever that was, I can't even remember. Sorry. It could pull back in here, but I think higher prices are ahead for crude. It'll just be making higher highs and higher lows, and here's another higher high, and then it could come back down into here. But I would say odds are it'll just, since gold and silver are taking off to the upside, I think it'll just consolidate sideways and head up, probably. So stay bullish crude. Silver, strong uptrend. Higher prices ahead. Today's a bullish bar. Up 77 cents today. So we got in SLV back in here, and we're holding long in the premium stock newsletter. So, and we were long gold in the premium commodity newsletter, and we're holding, and I don't see any top even close to being in for those markets. So we're just going to sit back and hold. We got in GC gold back in one of these moves out of the base, and I think it was around 1630 maybe, and then it's up to 1730. Gold's up 27 today, so we're holding long gold. And when these come out of bases like this and they start to trend, I mean, the sky's the limit right now for silver and gold. So don't turn bearish. Live cattle, we're long in the premium newsletter, and I think that market's going to continue to head higher. So again, you know, higher highs, higher lows. The bands are up. It's above the bands. The stochastic's pointing up, and I just expect live cattle to continue higher. Lean hogs is forming a base. It's close to a low, and I think, you know, it's going to head higher from here soon. It could come again. It could come down and make a new price low, double bottom type thing. This could be a higher low. Either way, lean hogs are pretty close to the low, and we're going to be looking to take the next buy signal in lean hogs. I haven't got one lately. This might be a good trade for option traders. I don't put out a lot of options in my newsletter, but I'm gonna start trying to include a few more options because I know there's people that want them, and this might be a trade we might take an option trade in when we get a buy signal, because I think this is probably a major low coming in here for lean hogs. Here's one we don't usually look at, but I think lumber's right at a low. If there's, for any lumber traders, lumber's just making a counter trend rally. And the thing is, with copper going up and with lumber looking like it's in an uptrend now, I mean, the stock market's rallying. Everything's looking good for the economy. I know there's been so much bad news out on all the different problems we're having, but you know, the market sees something that, you know, sometimes you can't tell it from just watching the news. The market's saying the economy's going to head higher because basically lumber's in an uptrend here, higher highs, higher lows. This is probably a correction low coming in here. I expect lumber to take off to the upside. So lumber, copper, that's all housing, and then the S&P, the stock market's heading higher. So the market is seeing a good economy ahead. So again, the market usually looks forward 6 months or more. So there will be things coming up later that will show economic recovery that we're not seeing right now, but it looks like a good economy is on the way. Okay, we'll look at corn real quick here. And I don't try to outthink things too much. You know, like a lot of people will say, well, how can there be a good economy coming up when everything's so bad? I mean, you know, there's just something that the market sees. If it's the fact that there's going to be easy money because they're going to be printing more money, quantitative easing, or whatever reason, but for some reason everything's bullish right now, and it looks like an economic expansion is on the way by these markets. Okay, corn basically very bullish. The grains. This has been a long consolidation. I basically think this sideways consolidation is over, and or close to being over, and corn's going to head higher from here. The stochastics is coming down to oversold, and it will probably hook up soon, and then corn will probably head up to $9 or $10 a bushel. That's what it's looking like right now. I was expecting a little more correction, but this market is so bullish, it's just hanging in there sideways. So beans are in a big uptrend. Now beans do look a little toppy here, but again, no sell signal, no move below the bands or anything. So I'm just staying bullish, and you know, there's going to be corrections along the way. Beans could correct while corn heads higher. They don't always trade exactly together. So, but a correction in beans wouldn't turn me bearish on beans. It would just, you know, be a counter trend correction. There's going to be every market, no matter how strong it is in an uptrend, there's always going to be counter trend corrections. Now wheat, same thing. It's just gone sideways here. I think wheat looks like it's making like a head and shoulders bottom here. And I basically think the bottom was in on 814. I think wheat's going to continue higher from here. I think this was the bottom for wheat, and this is just a test of the low, and then higher prices are ahead. I think wheat is probably heading to, we got 9.53 for the high so far, so wheat is probably heading to $10 or $11 a bushel next. And then oats, if wheat heads higher, excuse me, oats will probably head higher too. So basically bullish most of the futures markets, and I think higher prices are in store. So stay bullish. The dollar's going to continue lower. Stocks are going to continue higher, it looks like. So that's the way it looks right now, and thanks for listening to my video.